Cinema Classics is sponsored by the Gateway Film Center and is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to shows online at wcbe.org. I'm Johnny DiLoretto.
I'm John DeSando.
This is Cinema Classics.
Sure is.
You hit me with this interesting topic of conversation the other day. This idea of American Gothic films.
Yeah.
And, you know, I realized that I didn't really have like a clear definition of what that meant.
I'm not sure I still do, but...
Yeah, so I was looking into it, and it seems like, I mean, in some ways, it's like looking at things... I mean, the Gothic element seeps into a lot of different movies, right? So there's an intersection of genre, time. It could be almost anything.
But the most obvious one is noir.
Yes, noir and horror.
Right, yes, yeah.
Right? So what is this Gothic, what is American Gothic to you?
Well, all right, to me it has evolved into, I'll show this, and can't hear this, I can't see this, of course, with the radio show, but the original Grant Wood American Gothic.
Yeah.
All right, now that's a positive representation, which is no longer really positive, of the American spirit. Wood was trying to show the resilience, the fortitude, and as we move on in the century, we begin to give it a negative because they look so stern and they don't look happy American. He meant it to be.
I got it. Yeah, and you're right. He meant it to be positive.
He meant it to be positive.
Really?
Yes.
Because it is kind of slightly disturbing.
Yeah, but he was trying to show their endurance and their resilience, and actually used his wife and his local dentist.
Right. I remember that. Yeah, that's his wife.
And the house behind them has a bit of the Gothic architecture we associate with, say, Notre Dame and the early, maybe 2nd to 4th century, and then back into the Middle Ages, where Gothic didn't always have a pejorative connotation. It certainly connotes almost an overdoing of detail, and a sharpness. And now we've moved in calling our Gothic.
So it's basically exposing a dark underbelly of something uniquely American, specifically American.
Well, we're calling it American Gothic because Gothic, it
could be
anywhere. And we've taken it, and we have if you see a goth girl, she's all dark, and her hair is dyed black.
Yeah, but it's not to be confused with that, right? We're talking about other things.
It's a derivative, right?
So the Gothic girl, as we have come to know her, is a reflection of, she's trying to say something about society.
And to us, when we see her, we say, oh yeah, she's goth.
Okay. So now the show is over.
No, it's not, because I have here, and also our listeners can't see it, a shot of one of your favorite actor-directors.
Yeah, this is the 874th time the movie Unforgiven has been brought up on this show. I get it, especially near the end, the film turns very sort of dark and brooding and Gothic. For me, based on what you're talking about, the quintessential American Gothic film would be Night of the Hunter.
That's correct. That's right. And actually, let me add one that most people won't even think about: To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, I can see that. But see, that's where I see elements of Gothic creeping in, whereas Night of the Hunter would be quintessentially Gothic through and through.
Would you accept Taxi Driver?
I would accept parts. It's like saying, it's like, to me, this is like saying, calling, believe it or not, and I'm, intimately familiar with Taxi Driver. Believe it or not, there are moments of humor in that movie.
Okay.
Right. So to me, it's like calling Taxi Driver a comedy. Just because Albert Brooks is in a few scenes and we have a few laughs doesn't make it a comedy. So I can see elements of what you're talking about in that movie, but it's not the predominant creative force.
Okay, and I would say to you, yes, I see a little bit of Gothic elements in the killing of two lovers and the Small Town Crime, two films which we've talked about that I've seen recently.
Yeah.
And they have the darkness, they have the crippled spirits.
Okay.
They have the
crippled spirits. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, that's right. And the kind of degradation of the American dream.
Something where that's normally like you said earlier, connotes it connotes something positive, right?
Yes,
Something hopeful
originally.
about America, and it's sort of the dark reflection of that.
Exactly.
So I would say Blue Velvet,
Oh, good choice.
right?
Great choice. Yes, and one this maybe again counterintuitive. I don't know, because there's a spirit, there's a liberated spirit about this film. But Easy Rider, at least the person the writer who gave me the inspiration for this, cites Easy Rider as that transitional.
Yeah, I know that
Gothic.
was my original problem with this conversation, because you sent me this list that this writer had
It's
put together, and it seemed to be like anything. At that point, it was just like anything could be
I know.
Gothic. This guy was like saying, like the Little Mermaid is Gothic.
But he does have good points about like Romero and Night of the Living Dead, where he calls it the mindless shuffling horde, an image not too distant from ourselves as mass consumers.
Got it.
And
I see, but what
Yeah,
it's like horror overrides that. Right?
Yeah.
But there are these ideas that line up with what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
sure. And another one, Cormac McCarthy's The Road, and that's a good choice because that's apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic.
Okay.
So it shows the degradation we're talking about. It shows all kinds of crippled souls around. We see the end of the American dream, which usually, as we've often talked about, a traveling somewhere.
Yeah.
But on the road, I'm not sure they're going to their dream.
I got you. More and more, I think a movie like Psycho is less of a horror film and more of what you're talking about.
That's a great choice.
Where these relationships, these familiar relationships, have been distorted through years of trauma and abuse.
Good one.
And then that comes out, and it manifests in these grotesque, destructive ways.
And
so, I mean, we're about out of time, by the way.
Well, all right, my final for him, and most recent one that he gives anyway, 2010, Winter's Bone.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay?
I can see
I
it.
can get that too.
Right. But it intersects with all these other things.
It does.
Crime, noir,
Yes.
horror.
And-
but I like it. You're turning me around on this idea of Gothic.
All I think about is when Jennifer Lawrence leaves her home in the hills, and you see the yard with the old refrigerators and the cars and so on, and the kind of the American dream gone downhill, so to speak, from the hillbillies.
Which brings us full circle to that shot in Unforgiven at the end, where Clint Eastwood is threatening to kill everybody in the town, and the American flag is undulating behind him in this
Great.
very dark shot.